Peace, peace, peace. What is fam? It's your brother Tyvon Swano, aka the Orthodox Moor. And real quick, fam, I have a real sincere, heartfelt message to Brother Kalam L. A real sincere message to the brother. I got to watch the live stream with on COE, and I suggest everybody go watch it. As a matter of fact, in the meantime, I'm gonna play a little bit of a video. I'm not gonna play the sound from it. I'm just gonna play it in the background while I talk. But in the video, a lot of people from gang in the G circle are confronting you. I mean, you got big names out there, so you can see everybody out there. Jedi, Raspect, Maku, Rambo, a whole bunch of other people, a bunch of other heads. But everybody's out there, and they're confronting you, bro. And they're basically just asking you to come back to the light, man. And they're not even asking you that light. So they could be out there on some hostile stuff, but they're not. They could be out there trying to eject you from the park, but they're not. And I respect everybody for not doing so, right? They was talking to you like family, right? Like they had already come to the decision of, check this out, fam. We're going to leave you alone because we see what you're about. You're obviously about something over here, and we're about something over there. And the issue with this whole thing is, bro, is you seem to be playing both sides to the middle and don't recognize you're playing both sides to the middle. And maybe you do recognize you're playing both sides to the middle, and maybe that's a problem. I don't know what your intentions are. I don't know what your heart is. I don't know what you want to get out of this whole thing, right? But I do know this. I do know that when I watch this video, that everybody you're around would accept you in their community if you were willing to be a participant in the community and represent the community. Instead of this whole one day, I'm a Kemeticist or a Kemetic priest or whatever. The next day I'm a Pan-Africanist. The next day I'm a UK nationalist. The next day I'm a free speech propagandist. Like everybody's noticed the switch up in your game and whatnot, right? And I'll even say it like this: I definitely noticed the switch up. Like, so we'll say it like this, fam. Anybody can go check out and see that your highest viewed videos are from Speaker's Corner, and it's Sarah debating somebody, or it's the debates going on in Speaker's Corner, right? And so most of the debates have to do with Islam and something else, right? So I hear you on one level talk about the fact that, you was trying to cover like black stuff at the beginning, African stuff at the beginning, and you were covering the conscious community, etc. But at one point, you saw some buffoonery in the community that you experienced with Sarah Sutanseti coming to London and whatnot, and you having to promote him, etc. And you didn't like the level of discourse he was bringing to the community. You didn't like the level of information he was bringing to the community. And so you said it puts you in a situation where you had to choose something, right? Which I commend, because when something's brought to you, you should weigh it out and you should make a choice. So having seen what you were dealing with, and this is, I'm actually kind of surprised at this, because you're saying you had to wait to see him, as if there was something that you saw in person that was not okay. However, whatever you saw online was okay. And so what intrigues me about that is I've heard you talk about Kemetic stuff before, and you obviously have a higher command of it than Sarah Sutanseti. And so you obviously demonstrated to a higher level than Sarah Sutanseti. And you understand that what he talks about is buffoonery at best. So the fact that you got to wait to see him in person, like you said, you made an obligation to promote the guy, right? And I'm sitting there trying to figure out, why would you even obligate yourself to promote the guy? Unless you're not necessarily sure what you want to stand for. unless you're not necessarily sure what kind of platform you want. And see, this is what's confusing, right? Is it to me? I always thought you knew what kind of platform you want. I thought it was clear and plain. But then I'm listening to one of your live streams the other day, and it's saying that well you're not in control of the content on your platform. I was in the chat, and I was asking you. I was like, I said you're in control of the content on your channel, and you said no, you're not actually. That the people are in control of the content on the channel. And so, if that's the case, like, okay, you got me real intrigued right now. So, who's in control of how your channel took this weird free speech propaganda twist? Because all the people that's standing around you in the Speaker's Corner video right here, right? I'll see you. And please, everybody, I got the video link down below. Go check it out. Go subscribe to COE. My man's been covering it, man, long and strong, reign to shine for the longest, man. Holding it down for everybody, right? For everybody. Doesn't matter what color you are in the park. COE holds it down for you. He lets you tell your truth. No interruptions. Lets it be what it is, yeah? Long and strong. Shout out to the man. And everybody helping them out, yeah? But peep game, Kalam, everybody that's right there in front of you, right? Shout out to Brother Mohib in the background, by the way, yeah. Shout out to the brother. But everybody there would be willing to accept you back into the African community, back into the diaspora, right? If you would just be willing to represent them. That's all they want from you. That's all Raspect was talking about back in the day. Like, at first, I thought Raspect was in his feelings about how he came at you in terms of your whole Tommy Robinson support thing, right? Because at the same point in time, I came out from Tommy Robinson's right for free speech on a whole nother level. I'll break that down in a quick second. But I thought Raspect was in his feelings of how he teamed up with like Muhammad Hijab to kind of like take a slap at you and whatnot, right? I thought that was kind of whack. At the same token, I thought it was kind of whack that Titans TV. I can agree with Raspect in the sense where Titans TV I've never not seen that one gang panel like solely devoted to game on Titans TV ever. And I don't know why. I have no idea. I don't know why there wasn't. If nothing else, if you said something in private to them, and they didn't respond to you, you should have invited them out publicly and then called them out publicly for not coming on the show. But see, that's not what Raspect was saying. Raspect was saying, check this out, man. Like, he was like, you never gave us the type of support that you gave Tommy Robinson. And when you look back at it, fam, you know what? I can't knock what he's saying. I really can't. And here's why I can't tell you. I can't say that I can knock him, right? Because I have an issue with him that I'm about to bring up. I'm going to bring up maybe in a whole separate video with the G Circle and whatnot. There's a lot of things that I love to what they do. There's an issue. There's something that I brought to the table with them, with Sarah, and with you that I tried to get done months ago. That I'm hoping everybody can try to return back to, because it's a concept that's worth taking a listen to. And it's this concept of using your joint resources, yeah? Kalam, Sarah, Raspect, Jedi, the G Circle, everybody, right? Using your collective, particularly Rap Raven as well. Don't leave him out. That's my guy right there. So the G Circle was built for us speaking about us at Speaker's Corner. Beautiful concept. Now, from the jump, Titans TV should have been covering that hardcore, just like COE, right? Except Kalam should have, at that juncture, taken the forefront, let COE be behind the camera. You know what I'm saying? Also be behind the camera himself a little bit, but jump in front of the camera like he's been doing as of late and talking about community stuff. That was the forefront to do it, because if you're part of the community, that's your spot to go speak. However, what we continually saw is you getting caught up in this whole Islam thing, Islam thing, right? And this whole social media Speaker's Corner concept, right? And not really caring about the community as the primary priority of your channel. And so before, like, so we understand now, like you said in your progression, that you went from covering the American stuff, the American conscious community, to wanting to cover UK stuff, right? And so what was interesting about that is I actually heard the nuance on what you said. It took me a couple of times. You don't cover the UK conscious community. You wanted to cover UK stuff. I was like, I finally heard that. I finally heard it the way you said it. And so you started covering Speaker's Corner. And again, like me and the brother Abdul was on a Sia Live the other day, talking with Sister Sia and whatnot. Shout out to Sia. Go check out the channel, family. Go check out. She has Sia Live. She also has, I believe, Sia Live 100% legit. That's a new channel. Go check them out. Subscribe. She's got some fire content on her channel, family. Shout out to all her haters too, by the way. Berbers don't back down. Anyway, so on her channel, we was having a great discussion about the fact that Sa-Neter seemed to be like the father of what Kalam built and whatnot, right? And so you can see that in this. I don't know, like, I'm not saying like necessarily directly. Brother Abdul might feel a little bit differently, but I'm not saying necessarily directly, but at least conceptually, right? And so part of the concept in what Sa-Neter did on his platform was the fact that he would always go at either the Israelites or the Moors, like, because they hold on to a Abrahamic religious tradition. And so he built his platform basically going at those two traditions and whatnot, and using their so-called African spiritual systems to do so, and indicating that the Abraham traditions are not of the same ilk, that they don't have any place in African traditions. And so we see that for a hot second that again, Kalam was covering the American conscious community, and then he stops after Sarah Suit Seti, but then he goes straight to Speaker's Corner and starts covering the Islam thing. Now, for Kalam, he has a background in Islam. He will tell you this himself, right? I'm not saying he was a Muslim, but however, if nothing else, he was on some Obama stuff to where he was educated in some Islamic schools, etc. Yayawuki, right? He will tell you himself that he memorized, like as a child, he memorized 50 chapters of the Quran, etc. He will tell you himself that he was in a mosque at 16, and had an experience that made him want to go study Islam more, etc. Right? He's told me a whole bunch of stuff about him in Islamic backgrounds, etc. Right? And in fact, when he first came to the park, a lot of people assumed he was a Muslim because he knew how to pray. He knew all the words, what they meant. He knew all the different concepts in terms of scholastically talking about Islam and the words and what they meant, how to use them, how to apply them. And a lot of the ways he can apply them better than the average Muslim. And if not, and not just the average Muslim, but he's actually on some scholarly level with a lot of his stuff. He's a cold dude with that, right? So on that whole Sa-Neter tip, he was able to go at the Muslims the way Sa-Neter was able to go at the Israelites and the Moors and whatnot. However, there was more success going at the Muslims than what Sa-Neter had, because the Speaker's Corner is more international. There's a bigger eye on it than what's on 125th Street in Harlem in New York, right? There's an international eye on Speaker's Corner. And so with that success, you saw him, like, it's obvious that he focused on, right? But then came this whole Tommy Robinson bit, yeah? After the G Circle popped up, right? And we agree on a lot of stuff concerning free speech, Brother Kalam. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was one of Tommy Robinson's last few tweets on Twitter where I made a speech or a video about, as a Muslim, backing his ability or his freedom of speech and backing his free speech, right? Up until the point to where he calls for harm or incites violence on Islam. I don't endorse what he says. I don't agree with what he says, but as a Muslim, I'm obligated to stand for justice, even against myself, and stand for his rights. I can't say that I have the freedom to speak freely. I can't say that I have the freedom to practice a religion and he doesn't have the freedom to criticize it. I can't do that. That's not equality. That's not freedom. That's not liberty, right? That's also not Islam, right? In Islam, there is no compulsion in religion. And if I have a different way, unto me my way, and unto him his, right? There is no compulsion in Islam. So I made a video back in his free speech, not what he said, right around the same time that he was dealing with this whole thing in Speaker's Corner and whatnot. And go to another video in a second. And so at this time period where I made this video, everything was popping off at the park. And I also gave everybody a solution I'm going to talk about here in a second. I'm actually like I'll show you how I said it to Kalam, right? Or on his show, because we made a pre-arrangement for me to talk about it on the show. But we saw you make a switch with this whole nationalist tip, right? To where like you went past this whole free speech tip, right? Like you morphed from the Islamic thing to a free speech thing, right? Which is obviously why you would do it, because we saw what happened with Sarah, where Sarah was getting it in, doing the whole Islamic thing and debating Islamic people with you, you know what I'm saying? To the point to where his life was threatened by a certain extremist group of Muslims, right? And it was legit that like the government let him know that his life was threatened, right? And so I could see where you found an ally, where all three of you found an ally in Tommy Robinson, in the sense to where you felt like you could gain some power back and some sway back at the park through this concept of free speech and trying to battle it that way, right? And when I say battle it, anyone can go back and see that there was there was hostilities building up between a certain sect of Muslims and basically the black people in general that were associated with Kalam or the G Circle or gang period, right? Kalam Raspect and Kalam Jedi Raspect and the like, right? And so I at this juncture I was making a lot of videos about this conflict on an old channel I had called SLM TV. As a matter of fact, Kalam was recommended to people that they subscribe to that channel. I used to make a lot of ill videos going at the Muslims because their dawah was off. I'm a Muslim myself, right? And so I was going at the Muslims about where their dawah was off and where the brothers representing the Kemetic science were actually correct on a few things, right? And how we could actually learn something from listening to what they had to say. In this whole bit, like I went through the whole concept where Muhammad Tawheed was talking to me, but like I'm too black to be a Muslim type stuff. I must be a Kemet. I was like, nah, I'm proudly Muslim. However, I don't deny the science of our religion. And there was a bunch of claims being made about science in Islam that were not copacetic. They didn't match, and so they needed to be dealt with. And so I dealt with them. So, for instance, there's a lot of things that you'll see. There's some things that you'll see me and Sarah agree on. There's some things that you'll see me and the Muslims agree on, right? I don't care about who's who. I care about what the right opinion is, right? And I'll say the same thing on air as I'll say in a private hangout. I might turn up a little bit more in a private hangout. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so, for instance, Kalam's heard that before, right? He's heard me turn up, yeah. And I turned up, brother, because I respect the hell out of you. I've said it time and time and time again. I'll say it to anybody who listens. I personally believe if you were to take an IQ test, you are a legit genius. There's no two ways about it. I see how your brain moves. You're too damn smart. And I think you're too smart for your own good, in the sense to where like you might be trying to juggle too many things challenging your genius. You might not even know that you're doing. But here's what I'm saying, man. When you made that move with Tommy Robinson, you outsmarted yourself, man. Because no one would have had an issue if you would have rocked the free speech thing, but also said, check this out. I'm leaving this Muslim thing and I'm sticking to gang, yeah? And I'm only going to talk about this Muslim thing in the sense of free speech. I'm not going to challenge the Islamic ideology. I'm not going to try to play this game where I'm going to pit the Shia against the Sunni, etc., right? I'm not going to play these games from a distance. I'm not going to do this whole 48 laws of power junk on people, right? Like if he was to actually practice Pan-Africanism, right? Everything would have been all lovely. Now, I'm going to play a video real quick, family. This is me on Titans TV. I also said the same thing on Raspect's channel. And Raspect, I beg you, remake the video public. It was the Road to Jannah video where me, you, Jedi are talking about a whole bunch of stuff. Road to Jannah is talking about why he won't come to the G Circle, right? Because he was getting pressured from the Islamic community in terms of feeling like he had to choose either being black or being Muslim. And that's not how Islam gets down, right? And so this is one of the main reasons why I was trying to talk to the G Circle. And I was successful in getting on panel with Jedi and Raspect on Raspect's official channel and whatnot. And we had a beautiful build. I've always enjoyed what they brought to the table. Like real talk, Jedi and Raspect are on point. They are two wheels of the car that we need. Kalam and Sour are the other wheels. And if we can get a Rap Raven to drive that joint, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. You feel me? So I'm gonna play this real quick, and then I'm gonna break down what I'm talking about. And then when I'm done, I'm gonna get into some other stuff and break down some stuff from Kalam as well. But check this out, man. This is from again, Titans TV. This is from January 24th, 2018. Yeah, this is before all the stuff popped off with Tommy Robinson. Understand what I'm saying? Before I was trying since November of 2017 to get this done with Jedi and Raspect. But at the same point in time, we had a beautiful build, and they explained to me why they didn't want to do this. And I'll break this down in a second. But go ahead. Well, I'm gonna go ahead.
Start learning, start doing the knowledge. Listen. We're here, you know. We're just trying to make knowledge cool again. We're trying to make knowledge cool again. That's all we're trying to do for you guys, you know. Making knowledge cool again. All right, let's get into this. So, family, is there anybody else wanting to touch on, you know, Pan-Africanism, that type of movement in relationship to Kemet, and how the different religions, Dawa, how these different religions can come together, and what we can do this Sunday, at Speaker's Corner to actually bring about this unity?
Yes, sir.
Anybody?
So I was talking to Brother earlier, and I was also talking to Brother Raspect and Jedi a long time ago about the concept of taking a portion of the G circle and using it for a Pan-African religious concept, meaning that recognizing that we in the diaspora are experiencing these religions that we know from a colonialist mindset more often than not, right? And that when we come together and try to unify, a lot of times we still can't even completely come together because we're still being separated by these colonialist mindsets within the religions that we practice, right? So I suggested to the brothers that we talk about when people come together, that we also talk about how we can find our identities and our contributions in these religions, so that when we do what Malcolm X talked about, leave our religions at the door when we come together, that when we leave the conversation and pick our religions back up at the door, that we are finding we're not practicing a religion that divides us. Again, we're practicing in such a way that it's also bringing us back together when we leave. You feel me?
Well said, well said. All right. So hopefully this Sunday we can actually, you know, institute this idea that you have and see what we can actually bring about. Because of course we've got a lot of people from our religious communities that are into this type of information. And let's see how we can actually come together and bring about a change. So let me see. Since we want to speak about what's it called? So let me just make sure that yo, Ricky, I've sent you your link several times via your email. I've also sent it again via email just now. But unfortunately, it seems as though the panel might be filled. Okay, it might be filled, so you might not receive it. Or you might not be able to come in. But let me just quickly get a few of your questions or comments out. Kalam, can you tell us what your views are on non-blacks? Are they equal, inferior, or superior? And what are you doing for the African people or black people in general? This is from Ismail Ibn Khalil. Okay, real quickly, can you tell us your views on non-blacks? Are they equal, inferior, or superior? That's a very good question. I actually do that on a person by person basis. But just to give you a simple answer, we have a teaching in Kemet of the four goods that Ra created. Okay, the four goods that Ra created. The four goods that Ra created was that all men are created equally. All men are created equally. So that is going to be my go-to answer and let you know that all men are created equally. But unfortunately, not all men are equal. What do you mean by this, Kalam? Are you a racist then? No, it means that some men, okay, choose to lower themselves into the most demeaning ways. They choose to become slaves. When I'm saying slaves, I'm saying they become slaves to their passions, to their desires, and to the worst attributes or characteristics that a human being can actually hold, okay? And those individuals are not equal to me. So no, they're not equal in that respect. Then there are some individuals that actually surpass what it is to be a human. They actually borderline onto the what we would consider to be divine. They border that in terms of their characteristics, their piousness, the way that they treat their fellow human beings. And those individuals, I will regard and raise them as high as possible. And then there's other people, just on my normal day-to-day life, I will say, you are equal to me. I will choose, when I view everybody as equal to me, but I judge them based upon the content of their character. And some men, their characters are very lowly, so I will judge them as lowly individuals. Some individuals are very spiritual, or I shouldn't use the word spiritual, but they're very divine in their nature. They're very positive. They're very influential. They're very illuminating, and I'll judge them as being high. So hopefully that answers that question. And what are you doing for the African people? Right now, we're doing a lot for the African people by actually having and opening up these discussions or these dialogues. Right now, we're actually affecting the minds of hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of people on a weekly, monthly, yearly basis. You know, so this is constantly happening right now, and that's just to name one thing. All right, so hopefully that's answered your question. Let's just quickly get through. Yeah, why
No, I'm gonna keep playing.
do they need to come together? You guys, the speakers, are just full of egos. Shooting it down someone's belief is dangerous. You crush the fabrics that hold them. What do you replace it? What do you replace it? Okay. I don't know if anybody wants to break this down. Gabs, this might be you. Why do you, it says here, why do we need to come together? You guys at Speaker's Corner are full of ego. Shooting down someone's belief is dangerous. You crush the fabrics that hold them. What do you replace it with, basically?
Okay. So we're full of egos down at Speaker's Corner. We crush it. Okay. And it's funny. Do you know why? It's actually really funny because, you know, we did that show, last week. There's a Sunday gone on at Speaker's Corner. We spoke about egos as well. And it's funny that, you know, when we were talking about egos, the more egos that we find out in Speaker's Corner is coming from the religious folks. Because to what the brother's just saying, you have Muslims and Christians debating each other weekly about whose God is this? Is Jesus three parts in one? Is the Holy Trinity true? Your Bible's corrupt. No, my God's better. Your God's better. And they're shooting down and crushing down the opposing person's belief systems. Yeah, on a weekly, yearly, monthly basis. But yeah, when you have brothers like us coming down, you know, coming to share some of the information and stuff, and already pointed out in this session today, saying that it doesn't matter if you're Muslim, Christian, Jew, atheist, or just don't believe in anything. You can all get down with the Kemet philosophy. There's no problem. So for that question alone that he's even asking, to me, it didn't make no sense. Do you know what I mean? It's a double standards, and this is what I'm talking about. We didn't say that we're trying to take someone's religion away from them and we want to give them, supplement them with something else. All we say is that if you're going to be giving out information and you're going to want us to come to your religion, make sure that the information that you're giving us is true, is sincere, yeah, and you educate us the same way we might want to ask some questions. That's all. Do you know what I mean? We deal with knowledge, truth, and balancement. That's all. You see what I'm saying? The moment you start adding in fear and things that we can't prove, yeah, things that we can't prove or show, then we have to ask them questions. You see what I'm saying? So that's all it is. We're not trying to take from no one. We're not trying to crush no one's spirits or dampen anyone's spirit. Yeah, we're just here to share our information. And if you share information with us that we feel is not right, we're going to ask questions. Simple. That's this.
That's right. That's right. More doubt. Go ahead, Kim.
Yeah, so the brother touches on an interesting point, though. Like, so we were talking about this earlier, Kalam, in the sense that, at Speaker's Corner, when people started talking about this ego thing, right, and the ego comes up, a lot of times it's because we as African descent people, we're attaching to these religions and getting a sense of culture from them, because in the diaspora, we've been separated. A lot of us have been separated from our culture and whatnot. So when we come together and we start talking, like look when what was it, Hebrew Kelly and Zachariah was talking, right? Now that you got two African descent brothers, right? And two people from the Caribbean at that, right? Who can't have a peaceful conversation about religion and just talk about it. You can disagree peacefully, right? But they're disagreeing so hard because they both attach the sense of identity to it, right? And so when you get to the truth and information of the system, right, and trying to have an intellectual conversation, people can't go there with you because you're to them you're attacking my identity and my world's crumbling around me if you challenge that, right? When in reality you should be, if what you have is the truth, you should be so calm about it. You know what I'm saying? That when someone's challenging it, you can just patiently wait until they're done spitting their knot and you can just correct the truth, right? But for the mere fact that people are reacting so hard, right, is why we need a circle in the way that we do, or a portion of the G circle devoted to this kind of conversation, so we can sit back and go through all these little idiosyncrasies that are dividing us through these concepts of religion, right? Because again, when you go back to Kemet, they all go back to Kemet. Real talk. You can't find, if you want to talk about any Abrahamic tradition, right? I don't care which one it is, and I'm putting the challenge out right now, respectfully to anyone. I'm not trying to dispute, but it's a respectful challenge, right? If you think that your religion is not connected to Kemet, prove it, because I can emphatically prove otherwise, and I can prove that the mystery systems that you teach in your religion go back to Kemet, right? In your literature, in our literature, yeah. So the truth is, like, instead of talking about like how we're divided, we should come. There's no reason why we as African descent people in the diaspora should ever be having a conversation as to why we need to stay divided. Every conversation we need to be having in public should be why do we need to be unified? Feel me?
That's right. All right. Hold on 1 second, Ziriam. 1 second. I want to close down this show. Okay. I want to close down this show and then start a new show. We're gonna do it all.
So yeah, so there's a lot of interesting bits in that whole conversation. So I'm bringing up this conversation of basically a Pan-African concept of using religions, right? Whatever religion you practice, you use it to uplift yourself and your community, right? And see yourself within the religion. Under the Marcus Garvey concept of one God, one aim, one destiny, right? I'm a Moorish American Muslim, and in the tradition that I came from, Garveyism is codified or canonized. And so in Garveyism, there's this concept of one God, one aim, one destiny. And Garvey, he spoke about the fact that basically everybody sees God in a form that looks like them. And that he said, while the God of the African has no color, that he was choosing to see God through the lens of Ethiopia, and that he worshipped the God of Isaac and Jacob, and that he dealt with Christianity, and that he also dealt with Islam, and he also dealt with Muhammad, and he also called for a new Muhammad to come to his people and bringing an economic Quran. And so in that concept, I asked not just Raspect, not just Jedi, not just Kalam, but also Sarah to join up with the G Circle and set a portion of the G Circle aside to speak on finding ourselves within these traditions and using them to build up our communities in a Pan-African way, so that we're not being divided amongst each other with these traditions, and that we're not being blinded by the colonialist mindsets that we were handed in some of these traditions, and infighting with that. And so I was grateful to the brother because he brought me on the show to speak on it and to invite people to come out to it. And he did show up to a G Circle. I'm not saying he didn't. I'm not saying he didn't show his support for it. He gave it the official Titans TV stamp. You know what I'm saying? He said it. He gave a lot of good information when he was at the G Circle, when he was able to speak his piece, right? My issue is that you left it there, bro. Like if you would have dropped the whole Sonetta tip to where you beefed with Islam or whatnot, right? And you just would have focused on the G Circle from there, everything would have been fantastic. And talking about Rap Raven, this, that, and the third. Because every time we talk, I'll be like, what's up with Rap Raven? You know what I'm saying? Like, where is he at? Like, why, bro? He should be living on your channel. He should be living on your channel because of you, not because of him, but because of you. Because you don't let him not be on your channel, right? Because every time he's out there, he's trying to orchestrate an ill conversation with everybody. Like, no, this is how we come together. And check this out. Like, this is how you lift up your community, right? If you don't want to be part of my community, cool. This is how you lift up yours. These same principles work for everybody, right? One God, one aim, one destiny, right? These principles work for everybody. Do for self works for everybody. Learning to love instead of hate works for everybody. Knowing where you come from works for everybody, right? So with that, I'm making the invitation to you again, right? So you can see very clearly that the brothers, like, they vibe you, all right? Like they even though Raspect and them was chiding you a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like they would accept you instantaneously if you're like, you know what, fam, I apologize. I'm wrong for X, Y, and Z. I'm wrong for all that. Let me come back home and just focus on building a home for a second, yeah? And we have every right to expect this from you, right? This is my man's Patreon, yeah? You click on his Patreon link. This is what it sends you to, yeah? I want to read something, right? And then I want to play this video for you, right? This is his Patreon ad. I didn't make this up. This is his stuff, right? This is what he has when you click on his Patreon links in his videos, yeah? In the video that I have linked down below, click on the Patreon link. It'll send you here. Our team at Talk with the Titans have created the world-renowned weekly talk show which broadcasts the greatest intellectual personas in the conscious community with the aim of inspiring, uplifting, and educating those most willing to make this world a better place. Now, this term conscious community is a particular Black community where they talk about Black issues or African descent issues in the diaspora, right? It's a very particular niche group, right? So your people at Speaker's Corner today said if you were to come back and talking about that, we'd be cool with you, all right? We'd have no issue with that, right? And again, you can do it the way you said you wanted. Like you said you wanted to cover England, right? Cover the UK stuff, right? You got plenty of people in the UK to cover now, talking about the issues in the UK, talking about our people in the UK. You said you didn't want to cover America, cool, cover the UK. But here's what I'm saying, fam. This is the message that you're putting out to the people that you're not living up to. And it's still your message. Here we go, family.
Talk with the Titans and welcome to our official Patreon page. If you're not familiar with how Patreon works, the basic idea is this. We create amazing projects and videos which you like, and in return, you agree to fund those projects. You can decide how large or how small you would like that to be. But wait, you say, why would I give you $1 a month when I can watch your videos free? Well, you can consider yourself a patron of the arts. By supporting us, you are giving to yourself more, better, and diverse content. You're also supporting all the amazing projects which we are doing, such as our tour series, lectures, vlogs, books, workshops, and courses. You see, we at Talk with the Titans have a dream that we can build the first Black-owned media whose interests are in the hearts, mind, and soul of its people, home and abroad. And as a thank you to all of our contributors who want to give a little bit more per month, we've got a bunch of bonus offers, such as behind-the-scenes access, producer credits, seeing tomorrow's videos today, as well as having access to all of our courses. Thanks for your support and donations. They make a great difference within our community.
So you know I got to run that back a little bit, right? Because I know y'all heard that part, right?
Also supporting all the amazing projects which we are doing, such as our tour series, lectures, vlogs, books, workshops, and courses. You see, we at Talk with the Titans have a dream that we can build the first Black-owned media whose interests are in the hearts, mind, and soul of its people, home and abroad.
The first Black-owned media whose interests are in the hearts, minds, and souls of its people at home and abroad. Brother, all you got to do is go back to that concept. Use all the beautiful information you know about religion. Write books with it like you've already done. And tell people, explain to people how they can tie their religions back to Africa and into a mindset that puts them in the driver's seat to where they don't see God in the way the colonialists taught them, in the sense that God is something outside of themselves. Therefore, you wait on God to fix things. That God is something active within you that you interact with. That again, the God, the Creator is greater than we are. But there's a part of us that is a part of the Creator, and because of that, like you keep talking about, bro, you can change things here in the here and now. You can make your circumstances better. This is how and why religion works. These kind of conversations there are uplifting for the people. And it's what you said your mission was at its outset. At its outset. So I'm going to show the people real quick. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think about this. But on Facebook, anybody who's part of the Titans crew, yeah? Like, the talk about the Titans TV. Let me see. Let's see you pop up, because I know you got two on you. There we go. So this is Kalam's group page, right? Just if you go to his file section, there's snippets from his book there. It's a beautiful book. Hidden East African Origins of Islam by Kalam L, right? The East African Origins of Islam, right? Now, this kind of information is you can use it for two things, right? You can either use it for making people in the speaker's corner mad who are Muslim, or you can use it for like you can take it to the G circuit, like, check this out, family. This is how we can use Islam to benefit our community, in the sense to where we can bring our people back home with it, right? We can bring our people back home with it, and it's still Islam all day. For all the people who are in the circle who are Muslim, for all the people in the community who are Muslim, we can use it in a Pan-African way, in a Pan-Islamic way. Like you mentioned, you've spoken of Deuce Muhammad Ali before, and so you know Deuce Muhammad Ali was on Pan-Islamism and Pan-Africanism at the same time. I beg y'all, go check out his stuff, man. My man can get down. This is a good read. My man can get down, son. He can compile information. He can write his own stuff. Woo, he's getting into it right there. That's the hot joint. Woo. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, I'm sorry. That one does you in right there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, you need to go. Sorry, you need to go read your man's book. And go learn what language the Sabians spoke, right? Go learn what Southern Arabic is, right? Go learn what Southern Arabic and tell me that's not an Afro-Asiatic language. Anyway, whole nother debate right there, right? Got to take my shots where I can. But family, again, this is what my mans can do. This is just a snippet of the book. He wrote a whole book. He's talking about writing another book again on Islam about Aisha. I'm like, fam, I can see what you're saying. I ain't mad at you, but at the same point in time, I asked him, "Where's your book on Kemet at? Where's your book on this the Kemetic Creed? You feel me? Break it down, get it in, show people how they can connect their religions to it, and how it's not going to take their religion over. It helps them see it better. Break down the whole concept of the Kemetic idea of Tawheed and all that. Get down. Why not? But if you're not going to do it, fam, like, just understand, don't come back to the community expecting to get accepted, or expecting to get accepted. Excuse me. Expecting to get accepted. They got no reason to accept you, because you came out saying this over here and you completely switched it up. Now you're talking about it's a sad day for the UK and this, that, and the third. And you got Jedi laughing at you over there. I was like, yeah, what you talking about? What, you British now? Ain't nothing wrong with it, but I'm not like, so I'm Moorish American. I got no issue saying I'm American, but I'm a Moor. Yeah, I'm a Moor, right? Like you sounding like Raj right now. Like Raj was going at Saeed earlier talking about, like, you know what I'm saying? He was like, go back home. I'm like, whoa, an Asian dude telling an Asian dude to leave Britain and go back home. What kind of Stockholm syndrome is that? So when I see you talk, So you're making a lot of statements that sound like they're like, you know, some Stockholm syndrome stuff. Like A, you're on like this is a sad day for Britain, and B, you are making statements to where you're definitely, if nothing else, unartfully and inarticulately speaking on free speech, and at the same time, not if you're not meaning to, it's happening unintentionally, but you're likening our people to thugs and buffoons, etc., that need to get locked up for their actions and whatnot. And like Raspect put it too, he's like, what, our people need to get caught up for defending our people? Fam, you're talking from a high horse, but you're not on the front lines with the people. And they're hollering at you like, what's up? Because we see you on the front lines with some other people who wouldn't care nothing about us. In their perspective. Now, you and I agree. We don't think that, you and I both agree, Tommy Robinson, I don't think he's racist in any way, shape, or form. I don't think he's racist. I think his perspectives on Islam are extreme. And I think people like you could do a whole hell of a lot for making them unextreme and for balancing them out. You got all the information you could pass off to your boy. Real easy. Even through people like Tan, you could pass off like, nah, man, this is the info you're looking for in terms of using Islam to battle whatever you think is extreme in it. Because not all Muslims believe what you believe or believe you think they do. And you know it's the truth that the majority of Muslims don't believe what he thinks they do. And you could very easily pass him off information to neutralize that stuff. Which would help out your black Muslim brethren at that. People like the rote agendas, etc. Because he's sitting there talking about, like, if you're black and Muslim, it's more likely you're going to get caught up with police violence, right? More likely. You got two things going against you, right? Why is he not on your show talking about that? Why isn't Titans TV out in the streets talking about that, right? That's what everybody wants to know, all right? That's the whole deal, all right? You're selling them this whole thing about the black-owned media, yeah, but you're not giving it to them. Now you're talking it's a sad day for the UK, right? Nah, man, it's a sad day for our community when people who are as smart as you are, who have the ability to be a voice for our people and to give them voice, don't recognize it as their priority to do such. You got too many rods in the fire, all right? This whole free speech propaganda. You said it yourself. This is a free speech platform now. It went from being about your people to a free speech platform. Now, I don't got an issue with you making it universal because we agree on the concept. And like we heard everybody break down you break down the 4 rules that Rob broke down. I'm not mad at you. I you can make certain stuff universal. But at the same point in time, just recognize that you started off talking one thing and did another. But yeah, you still try to front like you still doing it, bro. You still got this up on your Patreon, all right? Just go ahead, change conscious community to UK nationalism or free speech propaganda or free speech, whatever you want to say, because it's propaganda. All right? I'm telling you straight up and down, it's propaganda. Because if you were serious, you're smart enough to know you could go holler at Tommy Robinson and go neutralize a whole bunch of issues. But nah, fam, you're getting addicted to the conflict game with this whole social media speakers corner joint, right? And you're getting drunk off that joint, off the wine of carnal things, all right? Off the wine of carnal men. Don't do that. Come back to the light. Make your full circle, all right? Do the whole Lasar Heru thing, man. Go to the underworld and go walk on the stars, man. But go full circle and come back. You feel me? Because at the end of the day, you're operating Isfet, not Ma'at. And there's no way you're going to be able to stay Sekhmet's hand. There's no way. Not unless you do certain things, and you know that. You know you need to fix up. Because you know if you don't understand it, I'm telling you right now, you're asking the universe to be negative against you. You're asking it, and you know full on well that it will give you what you ask for. So you shouldn't be surprised when you're putting out certain negativity and certain isfet and you get it back. You shouldn't be surprised, for instance, when your community is not accepting of you when you're trying to be intellectual. And they're saying, why are you trying to work so much brain for something so simple? It ain't that complicated. Either you're for your people or you're not. You can be for your people and for other people at the same time. There's nothing wrong with that. But you actually have to be sincerely for your people for it to matter. And your people don't feel like you're sincerely for them. So I'm inviting you, brother, fix up. Be sincerely for your people and reap the benefits thereof, the true benefits of being a positive brother for your people. Because otherwise, just understand, man, like you're willfully being a sellout. You're not buying into nothing because brother, it's just free speech propaganda. These are social experiments you're talking about in entertainment. This ain't helping nobody. We talked on the side, bro. We could be doing shows about how come we could get all the African descent Muslims on the show and be like, check this out. We need to get together and make sure that our zakat goes to freeing slaves in Africa. How about that? How about that? We could do a show on that tomorrow, right? Tomorrow. You can still deal with Islam in Africa all day, all right? All day. You know how to do it. You know how to do it. The only thing stopping you is either some cognitive dissonance or a willful choice. But I'll leave that to you. At this juncture, I'm gonna let the world go around a few cycles and see what you do, and see how you breathe. But to me, the writing is on the wall, son. Writing is on the wall. I mean, you are real close to getting tried and measured and found wanting, all right? Real close to it. So as someone who enjoys dialoguing with you like no other, because you are an intellectual brother. I literally love dialogue. You're my favorite person to debate and dialogue religion with because you are sharp, and you don't come with nothing. You don't say nothing you can't source. Like, fam, you and Sarat together can raise the. And this is what you want to do. You want to raise the level of discourse. Teach people how to do it. Teach our community how to do it. Be the example. Don't chide them for it. Show them how to do it. Don't expect them to know how to do what they can't do. Not everybody's as posh as you are. Not everybody's living down the street from an observatory. Not everybody got a certain level of schooling that you got. Yeah. You feel me? I can tell you that because I got certain levels of schooling certain people didn't get. And I'll tell you, my responsibility with that education is to bring into people who don't have it. Not sell it to them, give it to them. Give it to them. This is my final plea to you, Art. My final plea. One brother to another, man. I would love to see what you do in unison with our community. I would love to see what you do actually being a part of that G circle and a part of gang in the sense of using your knowledge on religion to show people their African traditions within the religion and how to reshape their mindset with the traditions to be able to manifest what they need to lift themselves up in the here and now. But with that, family, real quick, I'm going to check the chat, see if I missed anything. No. With that, family, I hope y'all have a good night, good evening. And Brother Kalam, family, like, I don't know what your second name is. We were talking about this before. And I'm not going to get any more specific than that because you know what I'm saying. I don't know what your second name is, but you're the something. You are the Lord of something. And whatever that name is that you were given would not be anything other than benevolent. I don't know what that name is. I will never ask you for the meaning of that name. But whatever it is, I'm asking you to live up to it. Because whatever the meaning of that name is, it will be key in saving you from the destruction that you are going to right now. And I'm not saying violent. I'm not saying physical. I'm talking spiritual, soul, and mental corruption that you're going for. You may not recognize you're going that direction, brother. I've tried to walk with you a few steps to try to get you to see some stuff. But I can go no further with you because the cliff is coming up now. I see the edge and I'm turning back, so I'm not going off with you. But if you go off, I'm not going to lose no sleep over it either. I got work to do. So with that, I say peace and love.